All right, I'm back. Just me, fortunately. On my own today. The maybe the unforeseeable future. We'll see. Tyler is on sabbatical right now. I think he's traveling the world, um, doing some things, but he's not here. It's just me and you. That's it. Okay. So if you don't like it, sorry. We got a few things to talk about today. We got some catch up to do. Apparently, the Target now as a store is in trouble because they've decided to they thought things went so famously for Bud Light that they would jump on that whole trans LGBT pride movement thing and get very political, and apparently people don't like that when you do that with their kids and stuff. I don't know, it's weird, but whatever. Call us old fashioned, I suppose. Also, the Bud Light thing just keeps going on, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how it's the future implications for that on Anheuser Busch. Also, I guess DeSantis is now in the race finally. Um, we'll see what that's going to do. Um, this could be setting up for maybe a future VP. Who knows? We'll talk about that. We'll delve into that situation and how that's going to affect the presidential race. Also, we've got Bill Gates. Bill Gates was blackmailed from Jeffrey Epstein. Woo, that's some weird stuff there. Weird how it all these webs are tangled into each other. So we'll talk about that a little bit, maybe what that could have meant for uh, you know things that happen. We'll say let's be very cautious on what we say because I don't think the uh, I don't think the overlords like me talking too much about this kind of thing. Also, Harry and Meghan have decided they're not done with popularity or uh, being in the limelight, so they created a fate. Okay, sorry. They they were involved in a car chase, allegedly. And we'll talk about some other things, some speculation on the Royals' end as far as what maybe Harry is, where his mental space is in that relationship. Also, we'll end the podcast with a little funny video with our friend AOC, and something stupid she says because pretty much I'd say pretty much everything she says is on that level. So without further ado, we'll kind of get into it. Um, let's go right to the first story here. Boom. Okay. So Target, they lose 10 billion in 10 days as stocks fall following boycott over LGBTQ blah 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 friendly kids clothing. So again, I don't think anybody has a problem with the LGBTQ plus whatever movement. I know I don't. I think it's more about the fact that you're targeting kids. I don't understand the idea of this. Um, but I don't know. Target seems to want to destroy their stock, I guess, which they've successfully done. Um, I think this is I think this is kind of good for this whole sort of push in the right back to the right direction. There's what I always say, there's that overcorrection steer where you're pushing an agenda, you're pushing a movement, and you go hard, 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 and and then there's like a course correction where people go, no, no, that's too much. You asked for too much, or you went too far. And I think this is the course correction. I think Bud Light started it, and I think now Target. And I think it's going to be fast now. I think these big companies, if they do this, they kind of step into this landmine here. It's going to be a very quick correction where people are going to say, because it's already been opened up. Where Bud Light was like the first in, and now it's like you know that sense of apathy that I've said that people seem to have. People will call people sheep. They'll just say they're followers, that kind of thing. I think it's more so it's apathy. People just will go along with things, and I'm guilty of it myself. I'll just go along with something because it's like the slow burn. It's the frog in the water, and when you boil the water, the frog doesn't realize it's in boiling water until it's too late. Um, I think that's kind of what people are doing, and I think that apathy is kind of like a double-edged sword. People are apathetic the one way, but then suddenly when enough people and enough stupid stuff is happening, people go, okay, well, No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. And then enough, courageous people get behind a movement or a boycott or anything like that. People go, okay, no, no, I want part of that. So it starts to get that traction and that movement, and that momentum. I mean, and so that same apathy that was allowing people to just kind of go with something else, now they're going to go with that the same sort of way and very easily. They're just go, okay, well, that's now the cultural shift. I'm just going to go along with that. Um, so I don't think this is. I think this could be like the start of the end of Target. I mean, Target up here in Canada never could take on. It could never get traction. So it kind of just it went away. I think Walmart was too entrenched, so they just really couldn't compete. But you don't see Walmart doing this kind of thing, at least not publicly like this. So I think Walmart's just going to sit back and be like, "Yep, okay, thanks for blowing up your company," and they'll just take the spoils. So looks like there was nearly 14% drop in value for the blue chip stock, roughly translate to roughly translates to $10 billion in loss valuation. Uh, so yeah, that's huge for a blue chip stock. You didn't see that kind of drop with Bud Light, because it was a little bit, it wasn't as fast. But now, like I said, I think because the fire is really sort of burning, um, you know, Target was Target just stumbled right in on this one. So we'll have to watch to see what they do. I don't think they've really done anything to this point to kind of change what they've done. Here's a picture of one of their little pride setups, we'll say. Again, kids, really, you could have some clothes like this in a kids section. You wouldn't have to set it all up as like a pride sort of thing. I think the fact that it looks like it's just going after kids, babies, and it's just weird. People just don't like it. People don't like when you mess with kids. It seems to be a sensitive subject, which I think is a good thing. Uh, let's leave the kids out of shit. Okay, well, I'll just kind of move on to the next topic here. And it's constant woes that it's created for itself. I'm gonna pop up. Hold on. I'm doing all this stuff myself. So another New York Post. I like grabbing New York Post articles because I tend to lean, according to now, on the right when really I'm a classical left of centers or left centrist. But now because I seem to be the right guy, I will go with a New York Post uh, or article here. So uh, this one's kind of funny to me. Bud Light Lime or Bud Light 24 packs going for $3.49 as sales tank during Dylan Mulvaney boycott. So I guess they can't get rid of this stuff. So um, they're just, what are you gonna do if you got a whole bunch of Bud Light on the shelf and nobody's really buying it? Are you just gonna let it waste? You're just gonna try and sell it. Just try and sell it for something, at least get some of your money back. But um, their stock over the last here, I'll pull this up here. In the last month, it's down 11.5%. Again, these are blue chip stocks. These aren't stocks that you know. These aren't the kind of stocks where you expect this kind of movement. Blue chip stock to go down that much in a month is nuts. Here's a 6 month. So 6 months not so bad. Obviously, you can see it was rallying for a while, and then boom, 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 all over the place, and then just dropping off the cliff. I think some of this prior to this cliff drop off was they didn't see the drop in sales. And now they're starting to really see the drop in sales now. I think they're down about 26% now in sales. They're really starting to see when you get a big company like this, you don't see necessarily right away what happened with the boycott or what's happening with the boycott. It takes a little bit of time before you actually see sales numbers and things like that. And I think that's what's happened here. It went up a little bit in trading today. But again, with a stock like this, they've Bud Light's just one part of their of this company, so it's not Bud Light shouldn't tank this whole company, but it is the most popular light beer. So unless they are to somehow switch it up, they were to somehow get a better branding on something else, or maybe lean into this. I think Bud Light should just lean into this. I think that would be a good idea. You just make the joke. Just say, hey, yeah, okay, well, we stepped in it, and all right, Bud Light might now be kind of the joke beer, and maybe go along with it for a little while. See if Bud Light, even after the drop, can still be sort of a sustainable brand for like almost like the I don't know, um, like the just the meme. We could call it the meme beer, if you will. And then they could just kind of lean into it, and people would go, okay, well, yeah, they stumbled in it and they made a joke, and they kind of laughed at themselves and stuff, and you know, they moved off of it. But I don't know. I don't know, as a company, I don't know how they're going to be able to walk this back in a way that they're going to be able to actually save. I don't think they could save the brand at all. I think the brand is a joke now, or as far as Bud Light, right? But other beers that they offer and other drinks that they provide, probably a number that you wouldn't even know or I wouldn't even know. It's not really going to be affected by this, or it could be shielded from it. So I think if they lean into this one, they could just kind of skirt past this, and people might see the funny in it. But oh, we'll see with these some of these companies. I think they're so their hubris is so large that they think that, nah, you know what, people are stupid and they'll just give up on this after a while. But I don't. I think we can kind of see that this one's not really going to go away. All right. Well, I mean, again, we'll just continue to sort of keep an eye on that, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it more and more. Hopefully, with the end of this, maybe it's the end of the the douche canoe they put their whole marketing campaign in on. But we'll have to see, I suppose. All right, let me cue up the next thing we're going to talk about. Obviously, with Santos jumping into the presidential race, this could be a little weird for uh, for Trump. This could be good. This could be bad. I'm not sure. Um, so, I mean, we knew he was going to get in, and he is now. And now it's time to attack him, I guess. So, um, I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know if this is an actual full on attempt. If he thinks he can beat Trump, because I don't think he can. But this could be one of those things where, okay, so he knows now that this is his last as Republicans as president. Because I realistically think that if DeSantis gets in as VP, he's pretty much a shoe in for the next, unless we some dark horse comes out on the Democratic side that people just fall in love with, maybe like a Michelle Obama or something like that. But I think if he's the vice president and people see him actually putting some of his policies and some of his good governance into effect in the the VP role, I think 100% he's a shoe in for the next presidency in 2028. So I think this could be I think this could be good. I think that might be the play, and I like the fact that he hasn't really attacked Trump, and I hope he stays on that sort of angle where you know, he doesn't play into the rhetoric. He lets Trump just say what he wants to say, call him the sanctimonious and whatever else he says. Because if he plays into that, I think he cheapens himself. I think right now he looks like he looks like a cleaner Trump. He looks like a more of a Boy Scout Trump. And I think people will like that. I think people will like the fact that he's no nonsense, but he's also, he's not running his mouth, blow hard bully type deal. So he could be that uh, sensible, um, basically Trump, if you will, or sensible option or sensible Trump type that people are looking for. Because I think people, like I've said a number of times, I think people are looking for um, that uh, straight talk that you get from Trump, where you go, okay, well, clearly he's not really. This isn't somebody who's polished. This isn't somebody who's reading off of a teleprompter. This is a guy who's just kind of riffing and going off, and people like that. But he's also off-putting in the way that he's such a blowhard, and he is a bit of a bully, and he says some things sometimes you go, oh, come on, man. Like things that he's said about different people, like I guess, like when he said some stuff about McCain. I don't think people really like that when he's putting him down. I think, and he walked it back a little, but um but with DeSantis you definitely get yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we can end that there. We'll see how that plays out. Realistically, um, it's early, and the primaries are like, or the presidential campaigns have just sort of started now, so you're really not seeing too much. And if Biden, I forget his name, he's so forgettable. If he actually doesn't do any kind of debates or anything like that, it's going to be it'll just be the Trump show, because Trump's just going to be going on, and DeSantis are going to be going back and forth. And I think unless DeSantis collects a ton of traction, you're not gonna really see a lot of that back and forth too much anyway. I think it'll just kind of be a short lived thing, and then maybe he'll just pull out, and then quickly you'll see, if I'm right, he'll step into that VP role. But time will tell. So if I'm right, you heard it here first. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is, this is funny to me. Bill Gates, uh, he wants to distance himself so badly from Jeffrey Epstein, but he just cannot seem to do it. Poor guy. He seems so uncomfortable anytime he's asked questions about him, how he knows him, any of that kind of stuff. And now this comes out that, apparently he was blackmailed. So over some stupid affair. Like, it's not even, this is the story itself is kind of stupid in a way, right? It would be dumb if this wasn't linked to this guy. If this wasn't in his whole demise wasn't very questionable. So I think this is one of those things where Bill Gates will just try and keep pushing off and saying this is nothing. But this could be the first sort of opening on the link up to say, okay, well, here's some link here, and then if you get enough people looking into this, and then some other stories start to come up, some other different angles and different, uh, you know, different unions and organizational contacts and things like that start to appear with Bill Gates and some of these other guys and Jeffrey Epstein. It's not going to be good. So we'll see how this one pans out. But this one, like I said, this was dumb. This girl was in her 20s, so it's not even a big deal. And from what I understand with Bill Gates, him and Melinda were kind of like, it was kind of like an open sort of relationship, in the sense that she knew that he was up to things, and there was probably things that they had talked about prior to getting married, and it was kind of like one of those, yeah, um, don't ask, don't tell, and I'm I'm up to things, but I'm not going to give you the details. And she was kind of like, whatever, and it was a marriage of convenience type thing. Maybe eventually she just had enough of that, but or maybe just maybe, and this is just speculation. This is not, I'm not saying this is fact, so this is just pure riffing here. Maybe she found out some stuff. Maybe she knows things that you know that she couldn't take, things that were outside of her moral scope. You know. Oops, somebody's calling me. Um. Anyways, yeah. So, uh, I don't know what to say about this, because early, I just think it's funny. Again, I think it's funny that there is another link up with an unwanted um, link up with Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. Very uncomfortable for him. I'm sorry about your luck there, buddy. But you're playing in the dirt box there, so you're probably gonna find some. We're gonna find some more dirt about you. Uh, so stay tuned on this one. We'll see if we can find some more about this. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about Doo, doo, doo. Sorry, I don't know how to do this faster. Uh, Harry and Meghan. You know what? Again, these are ridiculous. These two are ridiculous to me. Now, you probably have heard by now. About a week ago or so, there was a car chase, uh, a New York car chase, just like just like what happened to Diana. Same thing where paparazzi were chasing. Oh, paparazzi were chasing them through New York Hour, according to them. And then other sources were saying that it was not a high speed chase in any way. They were following them. What paparazzi will do that? They'll follow them around. Of course, they want to get the story. They want to get photos and video and whatever they can get. Um, but like these guys do, they like to everything is everything's sensationalized. I'm sure they nearly died many times. Yeah, I'm sure this was really harrowing for them. But this article here I pulled up, uh, apparently a royal expert by the name of Paul Burrell. He worked for Princess Diana for 10 years until she died, and he's got some sort of insider information, or what he likes to say, insider information about Prince Harry. And his sort of his speculation on Harry is that Harry is kind of waking up to to the truth, or the BS behind this whole this union, if you will. Because many speculate that it's actually Meghan Markle that is the one that's pushing this, pushing this agenda. Um, oh yeah, hey Gizzle, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, she's auditioning for Fast and Furious 17. Yeah, well, listen, she's gonna audition for Fast and Furious 17, but she doesn't want anybody to know to 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 see her in it because she wants her privacy. Okay, but in this case, I mean, I think that this could be this could be true. This story here about Prince Harry actually being, um, just being in this marriage because he doesn't want to like lose track or lose touch with his kids or any of that kind of thing. So he maybe just puts up with this bullshit. Um, you know, maybe maybe he's an idiot. Maybe he's the worst of the two. I don't know, but I mean, he's a bit of an idiot. At least he's going along with this bullshit. Um, anybody who's gonna play the racism card and all this kind of shit anytime they can, just for for attention, to me is an idiot. But maybe this guy's just caught up in a situation, So I I don't know. I don't know what to say about him. I honestly hope that's true because I kind of liked Prince Harry. I thought he was kind of all right. Um, I like the fact like he seemed kind of like you know, like a man's man, bro. Kind of like he went, he went to the like he was in armed forces and such. And he seemed normal, and suddenly he gets with this hot dish. I mean, she's a good looking woman. She's obviously crazy, but he gets with this hot dish and done, right? So, but if this is true, and this is actually this is a what this guy's take, this Burrell's take is about this. The fact that that he thinks that he's actually just doing this for the kids. Well, then this will probably play out at some point too. Um, yeah. See, he's saying that. So he says Harry's own experience of dealing with a broken home make it more important for him to avoid a divorce. I can see that. I mean, I could see all of that. I could see the angle on this, but as it is, I don't think these guys are ever gonna, or at least she won't. If I'm, if my speculation's correct, I don't think she's ever gonna let them get out of the limelight. I think she's gonna play like she's a victim, and they're gonna continue to play like they're victims, and they're gonna do everything they can to stay relevant. And maybe for him, that the reasoning for that might be so that you know later on he can kind of play like, okay, I just went along with her, and then maybe he can fall back into good graces with his family and get right back into that. So, uh, At this point, they're just a meme. At this point, they're just fun to watch their stupidity. But I don't think it's going to end soon. So you know, but yeah, okay, so, okay. I love this clown world. If you haven't found this site or this channel or whatever you call it on Twitter, I'm not on Twitter, so I really don't know. Handle whatever. If you haven't found these guys, go look them up. Called Clown World Today. They tweet all the time, and it's always funny stuff. You're looking for memes and funny different stuff like that. You'll find it on this one. Now I got to scroll for some reason. I had it all set to go, but I have to scroll down. Um, you can see like stuff like this, little memes. Um, we're gonna burn. We're going to burn the city down. Please stop. We can work this out. That's the police. And then I stopped a crazy man from assaulting people on the train. Straight to jail. And if you know what that's about, that's that Marine that they were going to charge with murder for um, for intervening on a situation where some nut was attacking a woman on a train. Yes, I agree with that, Gizzo. um, but I've already passed that segment, so it makes no sense for me to read it. Um, anyways, okay, so I'm gonna play this video here. This is AOC. It's a 26-second clip. Basically, this is her talking about uh, the government. Nobody ever claims that the government spends too much, that they get enough from the government. So that's sort of like an argument as to that the government isn't overspending. What a clown! Like honestly, what a. Oh, okay. Okay. So that's in the loop there. All right. Lot to unpack there. Lot to unpack. You twit. Okay. So I could go up to somebody on the street and I could say, "Hey, would you like $10?" And okay, they might say, "Yeah, sure, yeah, no, of course, yeah, I'll take $10." And then I could go, "Well, would you like 20?" Yeah, sure, yeah, okay, 20. How about 100? Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'll take 100. 1,000? Would you like 1,000? Yeah. How about 10,000? You see what I mean? I could just keep going. And I mean, there might be some people with a moral compass that would say, "No, that's enough. That's too much or whatever." Most people, or especially let's say like somebody who was looking for a handout, they'd be like, "Yeah, like okay, keep going." Um, that's the same with the government. So people, so you think somebody's going to say so the government as an entity, people already have an idea that they're owed something from the government because whether you're someone who is the type of person to take from the government and just constantly draw from it, or type of person who doesn't but yet pays a lot of taxes, someone like myself, if I needed money back in some way from the government, that's my money. I'm giving money. I don't draw anything. So that statement on its face is stupid. This idea that because nobody says that they've gotten too much from the government means that the government isn't overspending in every which way that they can. Ugh, this woman is. Oh, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be. I'm trying not to get kicked off YouTube, so I'm just gonna try and be nice. This might be one of the dumbest people in a position of authority in some way. She really is just completely insufferable. And she says the most idiotic drivel that it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm just going to say words, I'm going to string words together, and then you're going to go, oh, that was great. That was poetic. You just said there. Oh my god, I've never thought of things the way you just said it. You said it in such a way that like nobody could refute that because it's so smart. You are intelligent. Yeah, but you're not. You're an idiot. And I'm sorry to say that I unfortunately share part of her name. Yep. So maybe I'm dumb too. Damn, that could be true. Um, I hope not. If I am, feel free to say it in the comments. Bunch of trolls. Yeah, so I'll just end on that. Because I'm by myself and realistically I don't have anybody to riff off of. Thanks, Gizzle, for joining the conversation, jumping in. Yeah, so now from now on, instead of Fridays, we do the podcast on Mondays. I will look for some people to riff off of. I'll get some guests from time to time. I'm going to change the format a little bit, so there'll be some changes coming. If you do like the podcast and you've just caught this accidentally in any way or one of the videos off of the podcast, I ask that you subscribe to the channel. And because this is not the type of channel where I just want you to blindly watch, I'd like you to jump into the conversation, say what you have to say, and I would, I'd like to have a conversation with anybody watching. So jump into the comments. I'll respond to every comment, whether it's a bad one, good one. Put me down. I don't care. I'll respond. Sometimes I don't respond to comments just because I can't find them because YouTube is trying to save my feelings. So they hide them on me, and then I have to go look. I love those comments. Those are the funniest to find. But subscribe. I drew that, by the way. Yes, Gizzo. I should set up a Discord. Um, on this, but I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Tyler was the guy. Tyler was that guy. I'm just, I'm lucky I got this going. Put it this way. At this point, I'm lucky I got a little bit of a um, different setup on the podcast, which was better. I mean, if you like seeing more of my face, and less of nothing,